Hi, I'm Reverend Sheena Metal, and this is Saturday Night Spiritual here at Founders Metropolitan Community Church in Hollywood. But I'm not in Hollywood. I'm on my bed. I'm going through a house remodel, so my office looks like Mr. Magoo's closet, if you're old enough to remember Mr. Magoo. He was this little cartoon character that was blind, and his closet was like packed with stuff, and every time he opened it, 50 things fell out. That's pretty much it. So I'm sitting on my bed, coming to you live from my bed. I cannot guarantee that there won't be a visit from Saturday Night Spiritual's littlest deacon, Brother Cullen, maybe showing up for some snuggles. Right now he's taking a nap. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm a little low key. I found out yesterday that somebody whom I loved very much passed away, and I'm having a little bit of a hard time with it. And I believe when something happens to you, the lesson that you learn from that thing is what you need to share. So here's what I'm sharing. Don't leave things go unsaid. We think we have time, to say things. And here's something I've been guilty of in my life, and maybe you have too. Real quick, foundersmcc.org, SaturdayNightSpiritual.com, Rev Sheena, foundersmcc.com. This is all the places you can find Saturday Night Spiritual, and you can find Founders MCC on our great YouTube page as well on our Facebook presence, which is wonderful. So, when something goes on with me and someone else in my life, and you may identify with this as well, I'm always the first one to jump in, apologize, and try to fix it. If that doesn't work, then I tend to almost get embarrassed by the heartbreak. So I sort of disappear. Like, I don't disappear like you call me, I don't call you back. But I stop trying. I stop pursuing. I stop pushing. I stop trying to make you love me. It's something I've learned in time. Also, I was raised with that Irish pride by a very tough Depression-era woman who was so lovely and soft with me, but we didn't fight. So I will do everything I can to give it a rally. And then I figure, well, probably you just don't want to fix it. And then I go away. Which seems like the smart thing to do, right? It seems like what every new age guru on TikTok would tell you to do. Just, it's over, go away. But the problem with that is that sometimes you have to be the person that continues to try to make it work. Sometimes somebody else doesn't have it in them, and you have to give it that little extra push. Because we all live on borrowed time. And in this instance, this was a situation where there had been a falling out, not because of either of us, but because of a third party that got involved. And there's always a third party, right? It's what all Shakespearean tragedies are built on, the third party whispering in the ear. And I tried, and it was a bad time. My mother was sick, and eventually was dying, and I didn't, and I kept always thinking, someday I'm going to fix this. And a couple times I tried a little bit, but lately I'd been really thinking, I got to fix this. And this is something I need to fix. Because we shouldn't be at odds with people. Look, there are some people that are so awful and so dark that we should run away from them and pray to God they never come back. But sometimes there are people that just, the two of you have been manipulated by an outside energy, and for whatever reason, they're making it difficult. And I believe in that instance, that there is hope, that you don't have to become best friends, you don't have to get back together, you don't have to never leave each other's side. It's not about that. It's about not having the weird energy between you and someone that you love or loved. It's the closure. It's keeping your spiritual palate clear. You know, God doesn't want us to have like a million resentments. Cullen the cat has arrived. God doesn't want us to have like a million resentments and be in bad places with people and, oh, here's these dozens of people I don't talk to anymore. If somebody's energy doesn't work for you, you don't have to be in their life 24/7, but you should leave with some kind of an amicable parting. And I always want that. I always want the amicable parting, unless somebody is just damaging. And that's a whole nother thing we're not talking about. There are people, like I said, get away, stay away, never go back. I'm talking about people that you just can't seem to understand how it got where it got and how to fix it. And I think as human beings, we think, well, I shouldn't have to fix it. I didn't do it. And that's true. Logically, yes. If you didn't cause the problem, you shouldn't have to fix the problem. But sometimes you have to. And sometimes you have to just tell someone how much you love them, even if they never speak to you again, because you need to do that for you. And not be so prideful, and not be so stubborn, and not be somebody who can't say, I love you, and I may never speak with you again. And that's okay. And I think this is such an important thing when we talk about our spiritual lives and our emotional lives. Because you know how they always say the opposite of love isn't hate, the opposite of love is apathy. There's still emotions in hate. And there's great emotion in ignoring someone. Ignoring someone is actually an active energy. It's not a passive energy. You are working to ignore that person. There is an energy when somebody is ignoring you, and it's a huge energy. The passive energy would be, hey, we're not always going to disagree. Maybe I'm never going to see you again. But I wish you well. Love and light. Go with God. Have a great life. And thank you for the time we spent together. That's more a closure energy than I'm ignoring and unfriending and blocking. All of that is so much energy, and you're harboring all that negativity inside of you when you do that. You're putting so much energy into ignoring someone. And that's not what Spirit wants for our life. God doesn't want us to... Our entire life is just this series of half-open doors that we're leering out of, suspicious. Where's that person? We're supposed... I love that expression, people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And probably a lot of us, and I'm talking about me, we wish everybody was in our lives for a lifetime. I know I do. I wish everybody was here forever. Unfortunately, the universe has other ideas, and it doesn't always work out that way. And sometimes it's just for that season. And oftentimes that season comes with a reason. But you can enjoy that time and move away from that time in a pleasant and amicable way, so that when you look back over that person, there is love. You know, one of my best friends and my songwriting partner is my ex-boyfriend. And we were together from the time we were 25 until the time we were 35. So pretty important times. He was 23 to 33. He's a couple of years younger than me. And we were in a band together. We lived together. We found a way to part in an amicable way and stay friends. Now, that doesn't always work. You can't always, after the season is over, there isn't always another season, no matter what kind of relationship it was. But with us, we worked to keep the good parts of us alive. And 22 years later, we're still best friends. He rents my house in the city, and we are very close. And we take great pains to stay close. We work to make sure that we foster the relationship, because, relationships are like a garden, right? They need to be weeded and tended to and fertilized. So we work on that. We make it work, and we've managed to maintain a friendship now for twice as long as our relationship was. But you look back and you think, 32 years, that's a hunk of my life. And I'm so blessed to have him in my life. Is he perfect? No. Am I perfect? No. Are there problems sometimes? Yes. Is that having a relationship with anybody? Yes. Did the relationship have problems? Yes. It would have been so easy to just have gone, okay, problems, bye. But we have a soul tie. There are things in him that are a part of me, and things in me that are a part of him. And so the friendship goes on. Sometimes you're really, really tight with somebody, your best friend you see every day, and then a problem arises. And you decide, hey, you know what? I need a break. There's the season, right? The reason, the season, and the lifetime. There's the season. And I don't want to lose you, so let's stay friends on Facebook, and let's touch base and see how we are. And very pleasant. Okay, great. Every 6 months I touch base with you. This is how it's supposed to be when we've moved past one type of a relationship. It's supposed to go to a place that's pleasant and loving. All these ideas of, I hate this one, and this one can talk to the hand, and this one. Ugh. These are human concepts. These are earthbound concepts. These are not things that come from God. God isn't like, here's the thing, I'm going to give you this life on the earth, and you're going to have relationships of one sort or another with 300 people in your life, and when you die, I hope you hate 298 of them. No, it's not like that. All the resentments and the anger and the not letting go and the not being willing to move past things and to move forward, these are earthbound concepts. These are things that we as people do to mess up our own lives. These are not things that are some kind of a master spiritual plan for us. You're supposed to go back and fix things. So if you had a yard full of plants and you decided you couldn't afford to weed them anymore, or you didn't have the space for them, I'm hoping you would dig them up, give them to somebody with love, not just ignore them till they died and then be mad because they were dead. We need to foster the connections in our lives because we are so lucky to connect to anyone in this lifetime. This can be a very lonely life. So everybody that you've had a beautiful minute to connect with, man, that's an amazing thing. That is a beautiful thing. And we should be thankful for that, and we should be fostering that. So if you have a relationship with someone in your life, and it can be family, friend, work, lover, and something goes down, and it's ugly, and usually it's stupid. Even if you don't think that relationship can survive what happened, it certainly can make sure you get the closure. Go and tell that person, here's what happened. I'm sorry this happened. I wish we could fix this. Even if it's something they did, make the effort and make sure you tell them how much you love them. Because We never know what day is our last day. And this is 2024. Hi, baby. Has been a year where so many people that I know, so many of my friends have just passed with no warning, just gone. And like some of my friend a little while ago, I really thought she had cancer beat. And it seemed like she was really maintaining. And the next thing I got was a message that she had passed. So even if you think you're never going to talk to somebody again, tell them how much you love them or how much you love them. And tell them why it's not working. Tell them why you're not hanging out anymore. Tell them why you're not going to the family party anymore. Speak your piece. And I'm not in anger. I was just telling a client this today. Not when you're angry. Not when you're feeling overly emotional. You speak your piece from a place of love and from a place of gentleness and from a place of caring. You speak your piece from your heart and not from your angry brain. And that doesn't mean you call somebody up and unload. Here's all the things I don't like about you. Click. It's a maybe put in an email. Maybe it needs to be in a written letter. Maybe a text message where you can think about it and edit it before you send it. Create it in your notes. And it's okay to say, this is why we're not close. This is what I can't handle. This is what doesn't work about us. But it's also okay to say, I love you. And I loved you more than anything. And this is why you were special to me. We don't always have to hold our pride. And I do agree that it is helpful to a lot of people to take the workshops and the seminars where the healer tells you, don't take it, don't do it, don't put up with it. All of these things we need to hear, especially those of us, and I am talking about me, that can land more on the codependence spectrum. Yeah, sure, 100%. We shouldn't take other people's abuse. We shouldn't always put ourselves last. I'm starting a movement next year called the Choose You Project, encouraging people to choose themselves and foster love within themselves. So I'm not saying you should just be a doormat. But it's very important that when something bad happens, you don't shut yourself down and just the walls come down and then you never deal with it again. You need to work your way through things. You need to acknowledge how much you cared for someone. You need to acknowledge how disappointed you are. You need to acknowledge how much you wish things had been different. And then I really believe you need to tell that person, even if you think that person's a narcissist, even if you think that person is terrible, you need to tell them for you. Because the energy of you ignoring them, the energy of you making an effort to stay away from them, it's reading as a stronger signal to them than if you just sent an email saying, look, don't ever think I didn't love you because I did. Don't ever think I didn't enjoy working with you or didn't love being a part of your family because I did. However, because of X, Y, and Z, and X, Y, and Z can be 20, 30 things, however many you need, this is why moving forward, I think we need some space. But I'm telling you that I hope you have a wonderful life. I love you very much. And then that frees you. Because all of these people that you're like, oh, this one and that one, and I don't like this one, and I'm never going to talk about this one again. All of that stuff it's weighing down your energetic system. It's gnawing at your soul. It's dampening your heart. It's affecting your ability to love anybody else now or anywhere down the line. Because you're holding on to resentments. It's impairing your ability to meet somebody else, to open up room to start new relationships with people. I have a client, I tell this all the time. Why aren't I making new friends? Why aren't I meeting a new person? Because your whole life is your whole spiritual and emotional periphery is clogged up with all these people from 5, 10, 20 years ago that you can't get over what happened. And you can't always rely on somebody else to help you get over what happened. But you also can't think if you just ignore it, it's going to go away. You know, we're here to learn lessons. This is a teaching planet. God puts us here to learn lessons. And if we don't learn the lessons, they just hang around. It would be like if you were in school and you were, let's say, a sophomore in high school, and you had all your books and all your tests and all your homework, but then you never did any homework in 9th grade either, so you have all of that too, and you have all your 8th grade stuff you never dealt with. So your desk at school is literally a pile of books and homeworks and tests you never took. Because you never moved through anything and moved into what's beyond. And that's the thing. You don't just need to move on from something. There's a difference in moving past something and moving through something. If you see a snake and you run down the road, that snake could be waiting for you down the road. But if you see a snake and you remove the snake from the road, then you have moved through the situation and gotten closure. And then once you move through things, you can put it away. And you can put it away with the knowledge that you can look back and say, I really love that person. I have a person from my past. I'm getting all personal today because I'm all maudlin. And we were very, very good friends when we were teenagers. And at some point I realized that this person was not good for me, and it was not good. So I put distance there. And, well, the distance had already been put there, and I just didn't I didn't go running after it. And we had sort of a closure moment, and I said how much I love this person, because I think you should do that. I was young then and probably didn't do everything very right, but I did. I was in my early 20s. And I don't remember what that person said back, and it doesn't matter because it's not about that. And then I decided I had to make an effort to put space there. So this person already had kind of put the space there, and I just let the space exist. Now, when I look back on that person, I think about all the great times we had and how much I love them and what an amazing ride it was. And sometimes I think, do I need to just open up Facebook and go find this person and say, hey, let's hang out again? I think about that from time to time. And then I have a conversation with myself and with God. And I realize not healthy then, not healthy now. And I don't. But I said my piece, right? The part was amicable. And I moved on. It's okay to move on from something, but you have to move through it. And you have to move through it with love. Now, this person that I love so much, who died, I am very thankful that there were 3 separate occasions where I did contact and said my piece and said, look, how things are now doesn't change how much I loved you. I will always love you. I will always be grateful for everything you brought to my life. Thank you very much. And please have a beautiful life. And the I didn't, the last time it was very pleasant. I received a very pleasant reply back that said, thank you very much. And I will always think well of you, but I can't be in your life because of this third party person, which, I knew. And okay, had I not done that, had I not made that pleasant reach out, and I think I would be it's so devastated right now, like so much worse. I did this thing, well, probably 6 years ago when I contacted this person. I call it the hatchet bearing tour, where anybody I'd had any problems with in my life, I contacted them, as many as I could think of, and said, hey, I don't know what went on, but I love you. And if you want to look at putting a friendship back together, let's do it. And you'd be amazed. I got a lot of friends back. And a lot of instances, it turned out it was the third party person. Somebody in there who wasn't me, wasn't them. There are people that just get in the middle of things and mess with them because they don't have anything else to do. Did you want to see me get my cheek bit by a rascal? There are people who just cause problems because that's what they do. And they're always going to be there, these kinds of people. We can't ever pretend they're going to go away, but we also can't alter our entire lives because of them. Some of my dear friends I got back. And some of my friends that I lost, in all honesty, I thought was because of politics. Because it was that time. But it actually wasn't. It was because of the third party person. So sometimes when you have a falling out with somebody, you just automatically get traumatized. And that's it, I'm done. You don't really think to go back and ask, like, why did this happen? So I did. I mean, and there are more people I can tell you now I didn't get to. And I wish I had. And maybe I will now. But it's important that you be the bigger person. And sometimes it's hard. But even if you think you're 100% in the right, and you may be, and this person doesn't see it, you have to make sure if you're going to leave a situation, you do it by telling someone how much you love them and that you're sorry it didn't work out differently. Because if they pass, you will be so happy that you did that. There is nothing worse than when people pass. My mama passed. She was my soul. I didn't think I'd be able to live on the earth without her. But one of the things that made the grief easier was that we had said everything to each other we needed to say. Now, there's a million things I wish I could ask her, like things about the family or our history. Why didn't I ever ask her that? Why didn't I think to ask her that? I mean, I could write a book on that. But as far as the actual emotions and telling her I loved her and how important she was to me, what I didn't tell her every day in life, and I told her at her passing, or I reiterated it before she passed. So she knew we were good. Boy, did that make the grieving better. I'm sitting here drinking water like a fiend. We have Santa Ana winds in Los Angeles right now, and I just feel like I can never get any water in me. And coming off of spending a month in Palm Springs where I was like, drank 97 waters a day, I just feel like I'm so parched all the time. So think about that. And I know probably some of you are listening right now and you're thinking, I'm never doing that. Closure is one of our life lessons. Closure is in our soul contract. closure is part of the obstacles we overcome on this teaching planet. You know that expression, it's not the size, it's what you do with it. It's not the size of the relationship, it's what you do with it. And making sure that you get that resolution at the end is not only so healthy for you as an individual on the earth, but it is necessary. It's crucial and necessary for our spiritual path. I mean, we couldn't live our life with like 35 gaping wounds on our body that was constantly oozing and never healing. But yet we'll do that to our emotional self and our spiritual self. There's not supposed to be that many open doors. But the first step to getting that closure is you have to tell people how much you love them. You have to tell people what you're feeling in your heart, because you need to say it. Like if you're in a relationship with a really bad narcissist, and I don't believe that a really bad narcissist certainly needs to be told beautiful things, but it's not for them, it's for you. You know, people always say you have to forgive them. I used to be like, oh, I've had a cold day in hell. You don't have to forgive them for them. You have to forgive them for you. You have to forgive you for knowingly getting into a relationship that you feel bad about, that turned out to be bad, and part of you knew there were red flags, but you did it anyhow. You need to forgive yourself, because we all do things and we're all human, right? It's the same thing. You need to get closure, resolution. You need to say your piece so you can move through this relationship, and on the other side of it, be more emotionally aware, be more spiritually aware, and be ready to conquer the next wonderful thing that Spirit is throwing at you. Plus, our job as beings of the light is to push out all the darkness and embrace all the light that we can in our 80-some years here. And the way to do that is, part of it, the way to do that is to get that closure. Because all of that unsaid stuff and unresolved stuff, it's just leaving spiritual holes in you for darkness to come in and weigh you down. And you don't need that, and there's no reason for that. That's why it's so important you say your piece. And even with people that are going to be in your life for a lifetime, why aren't you sitting them down and telling them how much you love them? It's so important. People need to know. You know, oh yes, it's a given. Oh, they know. It's a given. Sure, okay. Let's just say it is a given and they do know. Still! Why aren't you telling them? Why aren't you saying your piece? Why aren't you admitting to them, this relationship, this thing that goes on between us is so important to my spiritual well-being and my emotional well-being. And I thank you for that. My life is better because you're in it. And I thank you for that. I do that with my friends all the time. Just randomly text. Thank you. You'll never know how important you are to me. I don't know what I'd do without you. I mean, I know we're instilled with a sense of pride, like we're not supposed to let our guard down and say things like that. Why? What are we here for if it's not to love and be loved? If it's not to tell people, you make me feel good, and I'm so grateful. What's the point of it all? What's the point of us if we're not here to do that? What's this all about? Why are we here? One of the most important spiritual reasons that we are here on this earth is to reconnect with our soul family, to meet new members of our soul family, and to have the experience of loving and being loved. Man, that's important. So today, tomorrow, this week, I want you to think about what I said today. I want you, it's the holidays. Tell everybody in your life you love them. Just let people know. People that are good in your life, work, family, love, friendships, tell them you love them. And then I want you to go back, embrace the holiday spirit, and embrace the Holy Spirit, and embrace the light, and think about a handful of people that you'd like to get closure with. And before the end of the year, contact them and attempt to get that closure. And even if you don't get the closure from them, you've said your piece and you have the closure. And that is so important. I'm Sheena Metal, and this is Saturday Night Spiritual Founders, MCC.org. SaturdayNightSpiritual.org. You can listen to some old services at RevSheena.FoundersMCC.com. Honored to be a staff pastor here at Founders Metropolitan Community Church. Such an important denomination, such an important church. And help us to help you to help others. If you want to donate, 77977 is the best way to do it. 77977. We do so much good community outreach work here. And we're excited to have you help us to be able to do that. I hope you all have happy holidays and a wonderful new year. And I hope you go back and get some closure with some folks that you loved. And that you embrace everybody in your life. Tell them how much you love them. Fill yourself with light. So important. I'm Rev Sheena. I'm really accessible. You can find me at Founders, Rev Sheena Founders, MCC.com. My main website is SheenaMetalSpiritual.com. My phone number, 818-437-0886. Text me anytime. I always text people back. I will send you some love and light. And I'm here for you whenever you need me. Take care of you. Keep God in your heart. Walk in the light. All roads paved in good lead us to the light. Keep walking your path. I'll see you next time. You take care of you. Namaste.